5 years and still talking. This is GABNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, let's sing. Hey, this is Alex. This is the Ramble. We go from now until midnight, right here from New York City, the most infected city in the world. Hey, we finally have a face. We finally have a face, ladies and gentlemen. There's Stephen Pearl.
Hello, good evening, Mr. and Mrs. North America and all the ships at sea. How is everybody?
We're doing it the easy way today, right?
Man, we're zoomed up.
Yeah, we're doing it the easy way. We're doing it through Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah, so that we can see. How are you? That's your place that's your place in Las Vegas.
My little place in Las Vegas. You can see some pictures behind me, and I got a cat at my feet, and everybody's happy.
Yeah. What about the pictures in back of you? What are all those?
That's me with Gail Gordon over there. I was a big friend of his, and we used to romp together. No, it's just me with different people, living or dead. So.
Yeah, living or dead. Who's the most dead on the wall? I suppose you have a picture of you with Robin, right?
Oh, there's a few of them up there. Robin and Johnny Winter and Geraldo Rivera and Edgar Winter. And there's a picture I took of Muddy Waters and Ray Manzarek at the Doors and George Thorogood. And an autograph one of Muhammad Ali, his daughter got for me, which is real nice. And when we outside of the Tube Bar, or the famous Tube Bar, phone calls are made. Les Paul, Robbie Dangerfield, just all kinds of wonderful show business people.
Now, how are you stuck inside? Are you doing the? Do they have the stay in place?
Yeah, well, we're not grounded. I can go out, and you don't have to wear a mask. But I've been going out to the store, and I take my walk every day since the gym is closed. And we're not as locked down as you are in New York or they are in California.
Yeah.
But here we are. But there's nothing going on, so we're still stuck here.
How many rooms do you have in that apartment?
How many what?
How many rooms do you have in that apartment?
147 plus 16 balconies. You wouldn't believe it. It's huge for $50 a month. It's amazing.
Oh boy.
Oh, I got a big living room here, and then there's a kitchen that way, and then there's a bedroom in there and a bathroom. And,
yeah.
And the wax museum in the other room.
No, I suppose all the casinos are closed, right?
It's closed. Everything's closed.
Yeah, and so you really can't work.
Nobody can work. Yeah, I'm just sitting here on my ass. Thank God for weed and the internet.
And do you get some money from the government? Do you get some
no comment.
What do you mean no comment?
No comment. Don't tell me. The money's coming. It's going to be all in pennies. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
I got a thing. I got
pennies in a big jar of honey.
I got their little package, their thing, and then I get. But to make it lousy, I get a note from Trump.
A note. Wow.
Congratulations on the money I just sent you. Kiss my ass.
Oh, really?
Basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm not wearing a mask. I'm too pretty.
Yeah. So how are you bearing with this? I mean, are you?
It sucks. I want to go out. I want to see my friends. I want to go on stage. I want to go bowling every Monday with the boys. And Bill Haley in the comments and me going bowling. And there's this. What do you do? I don't mind. I like being home a lot, but this is like overdoing it. So I do enjoy being home, but not all the time.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
But you got your music and you got your I guess
my toys.
Yeah.
I got some weed. I got the cats to keep me entertained 24/7. So I'm not hanging myself. I'll be very glad when this thing is over. Unless it's the end of the world and we're all gonna die.
Do you have any of the pay services like Netflix or?
I got none of that. I got Leave It to Beaver in the morning and Dragnet at night.
Oh wow! Well, you're happy with that, right?
I'm very happy. I don't give a shit.
You like the old shows?
I love the. I watched Highway Patrol at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Roger Covert. And a lot of good stuff.
You know what you can't believe? This is really defies any description. First of all, you had Broderick Crawford, who was known mainly for what? Highway Patrol, right?
Highway Patrol, of course.
But He won an Academy Award
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
for All the King's Men, I think,
Oh, that's
1948.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you think about Ernest Borgnine, and everybody laughs, ho ho ho, and they go, oh
Yeah.
yeah, McHale's Navy, but you forget he won an Academy
It was
Award
amazing. Yeah.
for Marty.
I'm lonely, Ma. I'm gonna get a girl, and then next year I'm gonna kill Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of amazing if you think about it. Those guys went from winning Academy Awards
Mhm.
to like really crappy television.
Gig's a gig, man. Take the paycheck. What the hell?
Well, I guess you have to, right?
Ernest Borgnine drove a Porsche, so let's make fun of him.
Yeah. On the other hand,
My ass. I get all the pussy anyone can ask for.
yeah. Can you name some other people though? The one that won Academy Awards, I think, and wound up on television.
Oh, there must have been
Probably today you can, because they all go to like Netflix and things like that.
yeah.
And we consider it television.
The old days.
But in those days, it was a major trivia question that I was asked, and it was a hard one. Like, for instance, they say, anyone who won an Academy Award that had a TV show, try Jack Lemmon.
He had a TV show.
He had a TV show before he got into movies. He had the Jack Lemmon show on, I think, CBS.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
know that. I've been watching the Betty White show, Life with Elizabeth, from 1953.
Oh, you know something? When I was a kid, I loved that show.
Yep, and they show a little doggy at the end. It's very
Yeah,
cool.
but I mean, I thought it was a very funny show.
Yeah,
You know.
I like it for its time, definitely. So.
Well, I think her show, I think I think it was post I Love Lucy, but she was
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah, of course. 'cause they had a lot
but
of
she
comedy.
was one of the first comedians to kind of be the star of a show, you know,
Yeah.
and boy was she young.
Woo, still around, man. God bless her.
Yeah.
God bless her and all the animals. But you had I Love Lucy, which begat I Married Joan and Life with Elizabeth and blah blah blah.
I Married Joan with who was
Jim Backus.
Jim Backus, but also Joan Davis was the star of the show.
Davis, right there, the late Joan Davis, who died in 1961, not long after that show was on.
Oh, really? You remember all that?
I remember. I don't remember when it happened, but I read up on her, so it's
Yeah.
61.
How old are you now? You're
I'm 19 again. I'm 64. Get off my lawn, you bastards.
Are you the same age as Bubbles? Is
Bubbles is older than me.
older than you? Yeah.
But yeah, I'm 64. So.
Yeah. So yeah.
Out of 1955.
In fact, yesterday I was doing our weekly interview with him, and he asked about you. He said, "How's Pearl doing?" And I said, "I don't know. I've never been able to see what he looks like these days." And you really haven't aged much.
It's the big eyes. They keep the rest of me from getting wrinkled or something. I don't know.
Me,
I don't know. Never aged that much. So the inside of me is, I'm sure, but
No, you look pretty much as I remember you. I thought maybe I'd go on now and you'd look like
Oh, I've been married 19 times.
the picture of Dorian Gray.
Oh, yeah,
but,
sure.
You look great.
Oh, thank you very much.
What is your regimen for keeping great? You work out.
I work out. Well, now that the gyms are closed, I'm walking every day, and I'm lifting my little weights I have here. And I eat junk, but not too much junk. And I just try to stay young and keep laughing, kid. Keep laughing.
Keep laughing.
Yeah, stay high, smoke weed, keep laughing, listen to good music, and try to have at least one animal in your house. So
Yeah.
that's good. Animals are good for you. So.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I could say, what kind of gigs are you doing? You're not doing gigs. You do live in a town where I guess you can get in your car and you can kind of go out. Well, you can go out to the desert. Nobody's gonna infect.
Correct.
Nobody's
See
gonna.
that bump over there? That's Vinny. See that other bump over there? That's Rocco.
Nobody's gonna give you a
What am
bad.
I doing in the desert? Shoot
Yeah.
my knife.
Exactly.
No, I decide I stay in. I'm home a lot, but unless I'm working or something, hanging out with friends. But now, of course, I'm home all the time.
Yeah. So anyway, so I mean, so what do you think of all of this? I mean, did you get your stimulus check, by the way? Did you get your check from the government?
Ask me that, Grandpa.
Huh?
Yeah.
You get,
The answer is
no, 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 no. Oh, there's your cat. There's your cat in back of you.
my cat in the background. Oh, hi, Siam. That's Siam.
Is Siamese?
There's Siam over there. Hi, Siam. That's my firstborn, Siam.
Is that a Siamese cat?
Yes, he is. He's a Siamese cat.
You wouldn't. Why would you call him Siam if it weren't a Siamese cat?
My wife named him, so you can name him whatever you want. He's Siam. His
Yeah.
brother's Nishi, and there's a black cat asleep on the. Let's see if I can. Here. Well, on this tour of the White House, here's where Jack Kennedy talks about. Here's. Let's see. Can we see this here? That won't help.
Oh, there's another cat.
There's Muddy Waters asleep. Right. Let's go see the black cat.
You know what happens with cats, and they always want to be seen. You know.
Oh yeah, these are ham.
They know I'm talking to you.
Yep.
And so they want to be in the shot.
Yeah, these guys are hams.
Yeah.
So and there's a third one somewhere, but I just jumped off the.
Are you home more than usual?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that being the case, how do the cats react to that?
Oh, they don't give a shit one way or the other. You know, I come home. I can come home after a year. Are you back already?
Yeah, well, because they have when you have two cats, they have their own little society going.
Yeah, we have three, and two of them are brothers, so they're like they're together, either fighting or hugging, and the third one is a lone wolf.
And when you leave, they just go, "Okay, see you later."
Yeah, and they're cool. I come back, and they can see me from the bed. They usually hang out on the bed, and I walk in, and they look at me. Oh, he's back. Okay.
Oh, he's back. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. I might do a bit about cats versus dogs.
Yeah.
It's been done.
Now, how are your friends handling this whole thing? Do you know anybody that's come down with the virus?
I don't know anyone who's come down with it, and everyone I know is going nuts, being driven mad, slowly mad. It's like myself and everyone else, like Steve McQueen and Poppy, and when they put him in the solitary thing,
Now, are other people staying in more than you? Because you say you go to the gym's open. Did you say?
Oh, so I'm walking and lifting my weights here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Everything's closed.
Yeah, but you see, you have the weights. My wife just bought like a Peloton bike.
Oh, that's nice.
Because she was getting so sick of not being able to work out, it was worth $2,500 to her.
I got to do something, Just so I take my walk every day. I like to work up a sweat, and I lift several times a day because I'm bored as shit.
Well, so, I've gained about 7. I've gained about 7 pounds since this.
Everybody's gaining weight.
Yeah.
Except for Christy.
And I don't know if it's this or the cancer procedure that I had, the seeds being implanted, that might have caused more weight. I don't know, because the seeds weigh. I don't know, but
heavy seeds.
But it's very hard to keep weight off when you're this. When you're not going out, when you're this.
What do you do? You eat. What do you just do? Let's eat something. Watch TV and eat.
Well, I try not to eat. That's not that. I try not to do that. But in spite of that, it's very hard. There's no exercise. And yesterday we went for a walk. I went out for the first time in a week and a half, and we took a walk, and I was out of breath. Which when I was working out and when I was doing lots of walks every day, never happened.
Wow.
So I mean.
Yeah. My legs are starting to hurt because I work out in the gym and I do my leg exercises. Then they started to hurt because I wasn't doing them.
Yeah.
And the muscles are going, hey, work on us again. Otherwise, you're not going to like this. So I'm walking just to do something.
So in quarantine, are you listening to music?
Of course, every day.
Okay, and who are you listening to?
Oh God, I'm listening to Big Willie Little and his Bug Busters, and listening to. I listen to a lot of Frank Sinatra, as you do.
Yeah.
Once you hit a certain age, you have to listen to Frank Sinatra. It's the law.
It's the law. Exactly.
And it's just good. That sounds so good, and Everything, old time Doors, Stones, of course, Johnny Edgar, Santana, and really old rockabilly of long dead guys you never heard of and probably never
So
will.
I'm sure you don't listen to Lady Gaga
No, I mean, so much
or
it's nothing. It's
you know.
nothing. Yeah, get off my lawn.
Actually, Gaga is very good. Did you hear Tony
I've heard
Bennett,
this.
the Tony Bennett album she did?
Hey, let me tell you something. The only reason I sang with that bitch is they paid me a lot of money. Tony thinks green, baby. Let me tell you something else. That girl, I don't want to say she's ugly, but when she cries, the tears roll up her fucking face. You know what I mean? Whoa.
No, but I'm telling you, she's good. She's the real deal. I mean,
I've heard her. It just didn't do anything for me. Sorry. I'd rather listen to Janis Joplin than the rest of the
Yeah, but I mean, she did very nicely with Tony Bennett. Kept up with him, was right in there because she started out as a jazz singer. So that's her real love.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of hers. I hate to say that. Hey, listen, we've run out of time, but finally
it goes by so quick, especially when you can see everybody.
Finally, I get to see you.
Do it this way from now on. It's easy.
We'll never get to see Bubbles, ladies and gentlemen, because there's no way. He doesn't even have. He has a flip phone from the past. Yeah. Okay.
He has a courtroom sketch artist drawing pictures.
Yeah. And but this we did because this is easier to use for the average person than Skype, and it looks great, and you look great, and I can't. I'm jealous. I'm jealous because you look as you have not aged a day since I saw you last.
And I still think Ronald Reagan is president.
Now you have to say the same thing about me.
You look marvelous. Yeah. No, you look great. You look good. You're alive. It's good every day above ground.
Every time you're above ground, every day above ground is pretty good.
Well, it's like when I was younger, somebody would say, hey, I saw so and so from high school, and I go, oh, what's he up to? Now somebody says, hey, I saw so and so. Like, oh, he's still alive. That's nice.
Just quickly, because we're running over time, but Gilbert Gottfried always used to say to me, Alex Bennett, you're still alive? Or Alex Bennett's alive. And one day I'm walking across the street, or down the street in New York City, and from across the street, I hear Gilbert yell out, Alex Bennett, you're still alive? Yeah. Anyway, thanks, and we'll talk to you.
Thank you, my friend.
We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks, and we'll do it this way.
You got it. From now on, we see each other.
Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The lovely and attractive. There you can see him now for the first time in living color, Stephen Pearl. Bye, Stephen.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yeah, and that's our good friend Stephen Pearl, and now you can actually see him in living color. We did that because a lot of people aren't as technically savvy as some of our people are, and it's just easier because with Zoom you just send them a link and then they call you, and I learned how to make this thing so I could put him in a little frame and everything like that. So anyway, we did it, and we're happy and we're proud, and let's go to the map. Every night we take a look at the map. We want to see how many people are not with us any longer. Totally confirmed to have the coronavirus. Now, this is, I saw on Fox, they don't say total. They say total reported. And I think that's the best way to put it. But total confirmed, 3,256,570 around the world who have the coronavirus. Total deaths. Get this, folks. Do I need to show it to you? Let me bring it up here. Really big. 233,363. Okay? All right. So that's what's happening in the world. Here you can see how it's going up and 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 up. But it's they think it's leveling off a little bit. Let's go to the United States, ladies and gentlemen, where we're very proud to lead the world in the coronavirus. Come on, go. All right. Come on. I push the button, and you're supposed to change. There we go. All right. 1,069,534 totally reported, confirmed cases in the United States. Look at that death count. Look at that. 62,996. Probably before this show is over, it'll be 63,000. It's slowing up, supposedly, but man, oh man, I find that hard to believe. Let me see here. Where is this? Is Italy? Oh, New York City. Here we go. New York City is at 18,069. We were down about, 5 or 6 today. We're going down, but very slowly now. We've kind of slowed down. So hopefully, the next couple of days we'll go under go under 300 and maybe start really bottoming out. But man, it is not pretty. Okay. Spain, they're with 24,543 deaths. Italy has, Spain now has more cases than Italy had. And Italy was like, this horrible thing going on. Well, they're 27,967. They're almost at 28,000. Spain is still at like 24, okay? Italy, 27,000 deaths, okay? Yikes. United Kingdom, 26,000 deaths. France, 24,000 deaths. Germany, 6,623. Of course, that's less than New York City here. You see that? There we go. And this is us. This is what we're up to. Look, most of the country, it kind of looks like it's covered in red. If we go in a bit, it looks a little sparser when you get out into this area here. But then again, there's less population out there. Also, the theory that what happened was that when they blockaded California, when they blockaded the Pacific from China by banning China from coming here, all they did was they went in the other direction. And when they went in the other direction, they came through this way, and see what happened? Europe got infected terribly. That's because of the Trump factor of closing off China to coming across this way. Because if we had known they were coming across this way, we probably could have done something to test them and so on as they were coming in. Here, they didn't even think to stop anybody, So I mean, that's how things are going. It's not pretty, okay? Not pretty at all. But anyway, that's the way the world looks today, and it's not terrific, and it's not wonderful. So anyway, that's our report for tonight, and see you later, folks. Now let's go. Let's see here. I gotta do a few things here because I do all this myself. I switch it and I do the thing. So now I'm going to turn on Skype and see what's going to happen. Man. I hope I don't have to pee during the program tonight. I have this pill for neuropathy that I've been taking that they gave me, and it's kind of strong. And it's Lyrica, basically. I don't know what it's a generic name for Lyrica. And I took it the other day, and all of a sudden my urinary problems got better. And then last night I took one, and I slept through the whole night without even having to get up. So I'm taking that, but that makes me a little loopy. And then by the end of the day now, it wears off, and you don't want to hear my problems, especially my urinary problems, right? That's what happens when you get old and you got to have them damn prostate examinations, and then they say, oh, this doesn't look good. And then they say, oh, you got to have some radiation, and before you know it, they're sticking seeds in your prostate, and your prostate is turned into a pincushion. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, okay? All right. Let me see. The lines are open. Let's see if anybody wants to call and talk with us, okay? Because I can't believe that nobody wants to call. There we go. Here comes Brian Neary. Brian's Usually, always the first one to call. In many cases, let me see here, and I can do this. And there you see Brian Neary. Oops, there he is. Hi, how you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm hanging in there. What are you showing me?
I don't know if you could see. This is. Can you see that?
Oh, that's a sunset. Oh,
Yeah. So I live in Almond Valley in San Jose, and so we have soccer fields across from us. So there's no homes for a while, so we get to see them go down the Santa Cruz Mountains every night.
so that's the Santa Cruz Mountains that we're seeing
Yes.
in advance there. Hello there, Rob Alfano. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. Um, you
Time
know,
marches on, right? We're getting there.
yeah,
How long
yeah.
we been in quarantine now?
How long? Oh, this is 6 weeks now. Maybe 6, 7. I don't know. Well, I think
March 11th. So
it could be 7.
yeah,
It's
I
always
actually had
possible.
a nice
Mm-hmm.
virtual happy hour today with some coworkers. We sat there, we had a cocktail, smoked a cigar outside, and just had fun. It
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah. And let me see here. I got to go get some more people in here. Let me see here. It had a hat. Let me see here. There is. Let me see here. Where are we going here? Who came on? The Charlie Wallace. That's it. Okay, and then. And then we have Jeff here as well. So he's already in the space he was in last night. So you had a happy hour, a virtual happy hour.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. Just sitting around drinking and cutting up a little bit.
But what did you do? You did it on Zoom, did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was one of my team members he took a buyout package, is retiring, and so hey, let's get together and have a scotch.
Well, I had a happy hour today with Jeff and Pamela.
That's right.
We did a Zoom thing and it was kind of a happy hour. I mean, I don't drink. Was Marjorie drinking? I can't remember.
She was drinking water, I think.
Yeah, drinking water. Yeah, and
Well, Pam and I had some wine.
yeah.
So,
And Marjorie was on her iPad, and I was in my guest room doing it from there. And, it was a nice little happy party. And then later, after that, I felt inspired, and I haven't seen my friend Shecky since this whole thing began, and then probably slightly before that as well. And so I called him, Zoomed him, and got to see him for the first time. So, Zoom is easy.
Yeah.
It's very easy. I couldn't use it here. In fact, I make it look better than Zoom. Okay, but I also you saw. I mean, I had the Jimmy rig to get that thing of Pearl because I did Zoom with him. So that was my big get. By the way, let me say something. As you may notice, Phil isn't here, and I don't know if he will be. His dog died today.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. If he's out there.
Yeah. What happens is when a dog dies, you really feel bad, because pets. They almost say that you have more of a feeling of depression over the death of a pet than you do over a person you know and love. So I really, when he wrote me and told me, I felt really bad for him.
Yeah, he mentioned it to me too. Very sad.
Yeah. What, he send you a text?
Yeah, we texted back and forth for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. I basically just said, I just wrote him back and just said I was sorry. All the things you would say to somebody if their wife died. I mean, really. I'm so sorry for your loss. I mean, what?
Anybody who's owned a pet has been through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I haven't had a cat in years, because I had 5 of them at one point, and so I had 5 of them die on me, at one at a time, obviously, at various stages.
Yeah.
And after it was over, I said, I don't want to go through this anymore, with having to put up with a pet dying on me. You know, and right now I won't get a pet because, you know, I'm probably going to be gone before the pet does. And the two reasons why I wouldn't get a pet is because that pet would keep looking at me going, you know, after you're gone, I'm still going to be here. And the other thing the other thing, especially cats would look at you that way. And the other reason is that a pet would say to you, a pet, if I died, I'd leave him with nobody. I mean, if Marjorie then died, and then the cat, you know, because at this age, who knows what's going to happen to us? We could live to be 100. We could live to be until next year, and that's it. You know, or if I get the corona, you know, I'm out of here.
Alex,
Yes.
you know, this really effed up my birthday really bad, the corona,
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, you guys are having the parties and all that. Yeah, I wish I knew people that would Zoom me and I could have a cocktail party.
Well.
You know how Patrick always has his crippleversary and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's, you know, I used to do that on my birthday. I would go out to a place and have, you know, like a lunch with, you know, some drinks and, you know.
Is it your birthday today?
No, it was like April 22nd.
Oh,
Jack
then
Nicholson's
the hell with
birthday.
you. That's already passed. We don't have to even think
No,
about
but
it.
I mean, it screwed it up. Like, I couldn't even go because, you know, the 17th of March,
screwed
it
up
all
our-
got locked
it's-
down and everything.
It screwed up our
I couldn't
wedding.
even have a Zoom birthday.
It screwed up our wedding anniversary. You know, we
Oh,
were
yeah, I
going
thought
to
about
the
that, I think.
restaurant and everything like that. We couldn't go. We had to cancel it. And the restaurant said, "Good thing you canceled it because we're not open anyway." So, you know, and
Did you hear Cuomo today?
yeah, I hear him every day.
And I heard like almost everybody, and then my electricity went out for a while. But they said something about January. There's a vaccine, and that drug you were talking about is remdesivir. Last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? We might not have Christmas, but I always want to skip Christmas. So
Well,
I'm
I
gonna-
don't know what's going to happen. What, Rob? Any idea? Brian, Charlie, Jeff? What's going to happen? Is this going to just
we don't
persist?
know. We don't know. But
Are we? Yeah,
gonna
Jeff.
go away.
Turn on your mic, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on.
Oh, you are on. Oh, okay.
Because I think that there's a damn good chance that we're going to get something going in the right direction.
You think so?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but-
I think it'll may not be 100% what it is, and it may not be what we're going to see in 2 years or whatever, but I think there's a start that they feel pretty confident about it.
Yeah. Do you think?
I mean, if you can get the virus and know that there's a treatment for it, even if
Yeah.
you know, then you're not so afraid of getting it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the fear is, oh yeah, you've got it. You stay home because we can't do anything for you. And if you can't breathe, we'll put you on a respirator in the hospital. That's you know, good luck.
But
That's what we
it's your
got.
choice. And if you go on a respirator, there's about a 20%
Right.
chance you're going to survive if they think it's that bad at that point.
Yeah.
And if you had some kind of fix for it that could slow it down and make it better, then people would feel
Absolutely.
a little more comfortable. Yes, Brian, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just think that even if they have a cure right now and everybody's fine and everything is good, if we don't spend any money and take care of this for the next time, Bill Gates was on one of the shows tonight and talked about that, less than 5%
I
of
saw
our
that.
budget we would need to be able to juice everything up, have stuff in storage for PPE and all these other things that he sees to do, almost like the pandemic playbook that Obama had, right?
Yeah.
And have to spend some kind of money, and we don't. We juice all the military and all this other stuff, and then it's terribly wasted.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we learned that there are more dangerous things out there than military,
Exactly.
military haps, things that can happen.
Well, the question is, have we learned our lesson? We forget very fast, okay? And if we don't do something to make sure that we can't make sure it'll never happen again. We can make sure that if it does happen again, we're prepared to fight it. And my feeling is we're not really doing that. We're just trying to cure the problem. And once it's cured, Trump wants everybody back to work because he wants a good economy by the time he runs for president. And the fact is, California, the governor just said, I let you go to the beaches. You didn't act responsibly. Now we're closing them down again.
There you go.
Yep.
You've been a bad kid. Go to your room.
Didn't Cuomo do that originally with the parks in New York? He kept them open.
Yes, he kept them open. And when he saw
Then he had
that
to
people
close them.
were just getting too close to each other and everything, he closed down the parks.
Had to do it.
Bad people. You can't do that,
Spoiled people.
Yeah. I saw those pictures of the beaches in California this weekend, and I said, are these people fucking crazy? They think, oh, well, I can't get it, or if I get it, it's not going to be that bad, and they're absolutely right, but they don't think about that they're going to go home, and they're going to breathe in grandma's face, and she's going to die.
Yeah, this one guy they interviewed getting a haircut, this young kid, and I don't know if he was from Georgia or from where, and they said, why are you risking getting a haircut? You don't have a mask on. The person cutting your hair did. And he said, oh, I'm a low risk, because he was a young kid. He said, oh, I'm low risk, and this and this and this. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Why would the guy letting him cut? Why would the guy wearing the mask allow the guy in the seat? No mask, no haircut.
Yeah, because they're supposed to protect.
Well, that should be the rule now,
right? No mask, no haircut.
They're doing that.
Like no shoes, no service.
They're doing that at
no ticket, no shirt, right?
Yeah, they're doing that at. There's Kevin. Hello, Kevin. How are you? They're doing that at Costco. You can't get into Costco now if you don't have a mask.
They're late on that, Alex. Everybody else was, requiring masks.
Well, no, they weren't late. There's not a lot of people. People were. They're saying we would prefer if you wore a mask, but they didn't say you have to wear a mask to come in here. But now Costco says you have to wear a mask, and if you don't come in.
You guys mentioned that.
No
thing.
Kirkland products for you.
I saw an interview with a barber in one of those states where he's getting fined like I think he said like $1,000 a day for being open.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a female reporter, and she was getting really steamed at him and saying, how can you justify this, that you're getting, and to me it seemed like he was eating that $1,000 because he was saying, I'm putting food on the table of my barbers and food on my family's table. And it was like, I guess he made enough money every day to be able to pay that $1,000 fine. And she was really like, yelling at him like, and, like it's not right or whatever. I don't know. But, to me, I got the gist out of it that he'd rather be open, pay that $1,000 fine and whatever. They were just going back and forth today. I don't know what state it was.
I just think these people that have this attitude of it's my constitutional right to not blah, blah, blah. Can I finish, Charlene? Please let me finish when I talk.
Sorry.
Now I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sick of these people who have this attitude that they don't have to do their part in this. That it's their constitutional right for me to leave my house or to go where. No, but it's not your constitutional right to kill me. Isn't it life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? And I think life is the first one in that triumvirate, okay? Then there's liberty, and then there's the pursuit of happiness, I think is how it's spelled.
And it is the pursuit of it, not happiness.
Yeah, the pursuit of happiness. And we pursue it all the time, and we never succeed at catching it. It's like the Roadrunner and the Coyote. That's what those Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons were all about, was the pursuit of happiness. He was always, if he caught that Roadrunner, life was going to be wonderful. Never going to catch the Roadrunner, But these people are being inconsiderate. They don't know how to. The thing I love about New Yorkers is New Yorkers really have taken this to heart. It's like a badge of courage on their part. Hey, I stayed inside. I did my part. You look out in the streets and they're really empty at midday. They show pictures of like outside Fox's window, which is 6th Avenue. There's hardly any traffic, and there's no foot traffic, and that's because people have taken to heart what our governor has asked us to do, and we're doing it. and I'm very proud of New Yorkers for that. You know. But my question is, if tomorrow, let's say, they came up with the vaccine, which they, by the way, the vaccine, the one that was done at Oxford in England, that is supposedly works, okay, but they just haven't put it through all the tests they got to put it through to make sure it's safe and it works and so on. Probably
You mean that I won't grow a third testicle?
no. They say it'll be ready probably by January. But in the meantime, the company which makes it, which was, I'm trying to remember which company it was, is making up 100 million doses to be ready
Wow.
when it's approved.
Wow.
That's how much they.
Pfizer?
We started doing that too. When
Was
we
it Pfizer? who's doing
I don't know.
Gilead is making a
Gilead. That's who it is.
it? Okay.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
out of Foster City over here.
Yeah, either that
but
or
also-
or out of King Arthur's court. I have no idea. The name Gilead seems to.
Well, their stock went from 84 to 104 the other day, and then it went right back to 84 yesterday or today.
Yeah.
And there's
You
a
also
lot of
gotta
money to
keep
be
an eye
made.
on a company called Merck. You know, Merck Medical.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a vaccine they're working on too, but they're being very quiet about it because they don't want a lot of attention to it.
Yeah.
Why?
Read something about them. Yeah, they won't. They're trying to be low key because they don't want a lot of attention to it, so that they can just kind of come out and say, "Okay, it works. Here it is."
Well, they found that eating a constant supply of toilet paper will cure the COVID virus. So I can't think straight today. Took my happy pill today.
Told you that Lyrica
that's-
will really screw you
that's-
up.
Yeah, it is Lyrica, but you know what it does? It really helps with the effect of the prostate radiation and the urinary problems.
That stuff screwed me up, along with Cymbalta. Both of those really whacked me
Well,
up.
this thing whacked me up, but the hell with it. I'll live with it for a couple of days. It's because it keeps me from having to pee every 5 minutes. So if it did that, I don't only take one a day, and that's it. I don't know how many you took.
I took it for about 2-3 weeks, and I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah. Well, if I go to La La Land, so what? You guys can
Yeah.
take up the slack.
I might go with you, Alex. I'm on gabapentin.
Oh, well, it's the
doesn't
same.
do
It's basically the same thing, except this is a better formula. To be honest,
What
with
is
you.
it, Alex?
It's it's a form of gabapentin, but it was called Lyrica, and it's called something statin. No, what is it? Pregabalin.
Pregabalin. I'll ask them about that.
That
the
as opposed
neurologist.
to
Ask your
postgabalin.
doctor about.
Yeah, about pregabalin.
That's
Right.
Trump.
And then I love where they list all
Dr.
the side effects you might have. Side
Mhm.
effects
What
might
are they?
include diarrhea, explosive diarrhea.
No, I don't want that.
No. But anyway, my question is, given that they come up with something, okay, let's say tomorrow they come up with something that they give you in the hospital and it minimizes the effects of the coronavirus, and people don't have to be put on respirators, and that even if you get it, even people my age will be okay, all right? And that's entirely possible. This Remdesivir may do that. However, let's say that happens. Let's say we have the inoculation, the vaccination. Still, what's our life going to be after this? Yes, Brian.
So I was going to ask you a while ago. So, being in New York City, with 9/11 and everything, do you think things just went back to normal? And we know they're terrorists and know all that stuff, but I sort of had the same question. How do you think, are we going to go back to normal where it just starts being baseball games again?
Well, going back to normal after that situation, okay, wasn't really a problem, okay? And the reason it wasn't a problem is because it was a different kind of event. It was an event over which we had no control. Boom, 3,000 people get killed. Now we have to clean up the rubble, rebuild, and move on, okay? Which New Yorkers are very good at. This is something that's a constant threat and has altered your daily behavior. I don't think anybody's behavior was altered because of 9/11. Outside of the
For a
fact
few
that
days, it was.
for a few days,
I lived through it.
yeah, but
For about a week, 10
yeah,
days,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, but not like this.
No.
Not like this, where I'm afraid to go outside. Yes, Kevin.
You're wrong. You see how much you've gotten used to it? You got to go through security checks. You got to go through all this crap now that you didn't have to do before.
That's
now
true.
your alterations of your life, you're used to it now.
Yeah.
Look at all the security checks you got to go through. Look at all the changes in the life that you had after 9/11.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that
Gotta
we
get
changed.
special
Now
ID.
it's just second nature.
What were you saying, Charlie?
I says you gotta get a special ID. I had to get a special new.
That's
I wasn't
right.
up for a new driver's license, but you had to get a new driver's license with the seal on it,
Yeah.
or else you couldn't
There's
use it for your
still
ID.
stuff. There's still stuff going on that we have to do because of 9/11
Yeah.
constantly.
Right.
And you go to a baseball game, you got to get checked at the front gate.
Yeah.
That stuff's still going on.
These are security
so
precautions.
we've got
though.
adjusted.
But what I'm saying is, what we've altered. Yes, Jeff.
Well, I was going to say that from 9/11, from my perspective at my engineering company, our customers didn't want to call up. They were too busy being scared
Yeah.
to
Really?
do anything. And they were going like, well, I don't know. And you call them up and they don't pick up the phone, And this took probably, almost a year before it went back to normal for us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying here is this is something that has altered our day-to-day patterns and also where we will go and where we won't go. I don't know about you. I'm probably never going to a movie theater again. And I don't care what they do. They can have one seat in the entire theater, and I'm not going to a movie theater again. But that they don't want to open up a theater and have every other seat missing, because that means they're going to not make the same kind of money they were making.
Well, once there's a vaccine, why wouldn't you go? We've been through plenty of viruses and things where once we have a vaccine, we wipe it out.
Yeah.
Well, but nevertheless, I think that we saw what happened. There could be another virus coming along right behind it.
Yep.
It would do the same thing.
Oh, there could be another bomb go through a building too.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, though, I think it's an easier chance of another virus coming this way.
I don't know about that.
And I just think that I would not see myself going to a movie theater after this is over with.
I've been trying to think the same thing because I've got 49er tickets, season tickets to the 49ers.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with them this year? That's what's going through my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I already prepaid for them. I'm paying for a seat license that I got another 3 years to pay on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck with them. What am I going to do with them? I can't sell them because probably a lot of other people is thinking the same thing.
Don't you get a refund?
Hell no.
Wow, really?
Oh no, they don't refund stuff. They credit you for next year.
Okay.
What
Great.
am I going to do
well,
next
That's
year?
what
You're
the
not losing it.
airline
Okay,
did.
Brian.
What am I going to do next year? Who knows?
Yes.
Brian
So-
has his hands up.
So for Christmas, I got the family. Usually get them trips, and so I got a trip, Norwegian ship. It's the new cruise ship, has the go-kart racing on it and all the cool stuff. So we've been on the Disney cruise before. So we're doing this one, and it's for June. Obviously, we're not going. But now I wanted to cancel. I wanted to cancel, and the same thing. They're like, "Oh no, don't worry. We're gonna give you a credit. You can use that. Get it scheduled between now and December." And I'm calling back there and say, "I don't feel comfortable going on a cruise ship anymore. I want my money back." And so I'm fighting back and forth.
I never would feel comfortable being on a cruise ship anyway, because I just think I don't want to be stuck on a boat with all those people from Miami, But I mean, the thing is that the problem is that the cruise ships are literally floating petri dishes. I mean, and they knew that, and they've done nothing to prevent that. They should have done more hand washing and everything like that for people who were coming on the ship, and decontamination on a constant basis. When people were sleeping, go down the hallways and, run the disinfectant through. No, they weren't doing any of that. And then when they knew they had a problem, they didn't do anything about it. They still stayed out at sea and let people try to think they were having a vacation, when in fact it was getting to be a real petri dish. I think that business is in big trouble, because even my friend Shecky, who loved taking cruises, said, I don't know, I don't think so. In fact, a couple of months ago, before all of this, he got rid of his stock in cruise ships. But here's something that'll make you mad, folks. This one will piss you off. Everybody, listen closely. Do you know how much Panama Cruises, which owns things like the Princess, the Ocean Princess, or whatever those ships are? Yeah. Do you know how much our government gave that guy? $1 billion. Do you know where that ship is registered? Panama.
Most of them are. Very few are registered in this country.
The major company, which is the Princess Cruise, and there are a whole bunch of, maybe even the Disney one, are out of Panama. They're part of the Panama Cruise organization. They got $1 billion with a B dollars. That's money that was taken away from the small shop owner, from the person who could least afford to lose money. And what are you giving them $1 billion for? If tomorrow everything is better, they're not suddenly going to have people flooding onto those ships. Not after the way they handled this.
And they won't show the list. I heard they won't show the list of the companies that they're giving money to. And they gave Barron's, Trump's school money also, millions of dollars. And
that's Trump's son.
Yeah. See the list. Can we see the list that all the money went to? And they won't show the list.
Wow. That's
I'm still stuck on the last thing, Alex, that you were saying. Mm-hmm. What's different than 9/11 or something? Mm-hmm. The way people are dressing. Like, 9/11, people didn't have to wear PPE. That's going to be, I think they're still going to be wearing that for a long time.
Yeah.
When these businesses open, I've already seen what they're doing in those states that are open now. Like, those, what do they call them? The things they're 3D printing, the visors, not a spit
face
guard.
mask.
The visors.
Yeah, those things.
Yeah. Face shield.
Yeah, the shields. Like your waiter in the restaurant now is going to have a face shield. The dentist already had that a little bit and stuff, but like not just medical people now, like hairdressers and waiters and things like that. Everyone's going to have like almost like hazmat and PPE and gloves.
But
sanitation.
Until when?
Yeah, I don't think
Maybe forever.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Oh, you don't think so, Kevin?
I think nursing
Will
homes.
you let Kevin talk, please, Charlene?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let Kevin talk. Yes, Kevin.
Okay.
I think once we get a handle on the virus and get the vaccines and the therapies going, I think it's going to go back to semi-normal. There'll be precautions to take, and there'll be seasons for this thing. But if we can get a handle on what it is, it's going to be like any other flu, and then we'll just be waiting for the next one.
Okay, but
this has been a really bad one, and we've had to take extra precautions. We've had to attack it a different way. But it's going to be one of those things that there's always been a flu every year, and there's been, therapies for it, and we've attacked it every year with our flu shots and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen is what this will become once we figure out what it is. This has just been a different type of virus.
Every day we find out that it's something different than we thought it was.
Right.
I mean, when we suddenly thought, well, we know what it is, it attacks the lungs, and then all of a sudden we're finding that 25-year-olds are dying of strokes. Because of this. I mean, it supposedly affects the blood flow. Brian, you seem to
respiratory.
It's respiratory, but it also does something with the veins and things like that, and blocks them up. This is a wicked thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of coronaviruses.
There are a lot of coronaviruses, but this one is particularly
Right.
vicious. And what happens is we'll take care of this, I'm sure, but are we going to be ready for the next one, and have we learned anything from this? And that's the big question. Have we learned anything from this? And I think the answer is I don't honestly believe that we have learned anything from this, you know? So
I think we've learned something. It's just, we're going to learn more.
Yeah, but I mean,
learned something out of it. We learned that we were too slow.
Yeah, and but you know, I mean, we have a president, for instance, who absolutely refuses to acknowledge that he did anything wrong. You know, that he was too late to the party. Oh, all he can say is I closed off China to the United States.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
And he didn't really. He was only doing it because he hated China and he wanted to get even with them on some level, you know. And that was his. I'm looking for Goomba 61. There he is, and we got Ray Renati. There he is. Okay, hi Ray.
Think we also learned that we needed more international cooperation, and it's probably due to the troubled waters that we had with the leader that we have right now. We probably had that. We didn't get good cooperation because of the leadership we have right now.
Well, I mean, he went after China in the way he did because he didn't like China, and it was a good.
And they were pissed off. Maybe they didn't want to tell us. And maybe he said, "Oh, we'll let you know."
Yeah. Well, anyway, that wasn't the answer, because if you didn't think they could go over to like London and Paris and places like that and then come to the United States, you weren't even watching that side of the United States. And proof positive that they weren't and that the president wasn't, look at the infection rate on the East Coast of the United States.
Right. I mean, now he's pissing off WHO, which I think is probably a big mistake.
Worst mistake.
It's a worse mistake. If you piss off the WHO, you're just pissing off everybody.
It's like your house is getting robbed and you piss off the cops.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just stupid, and
you're
not going to make things any better.
Do you think?
But don't worry, Q3 and Q4 are going to be tremendous.
Yeah,
fantastic.
They're going to be tremendous. Yeah. And like this flu, it's going to be nothing. It's going to be like the common cold.
Miracle.
It's going to miraculously disappear.
It's going to when it gets warmer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just gonna magically go away. Isn't that right, doctor? And then the doctor goes, "I'll look into it." I mean, he kept coming up with all these stupid, dumb ideas. He had no concept of what this was about. John, turn down something there because you got you're causing a problem. Yeah. Okay. Good. One thing I do like about, by the way, about Zoom is that if somebody were to do something like that, I could turn off their audio. Where here with Skype, you can't turn off their audio. But I'll bet you within months, Skype is going to have all the features that Zoom has, because they have to. Unless they're stupid, and I've been dealing with them for years, and I assume they are stupid. Anyway.
But is Skype going to Teams? There's another one called Teams.
That's business, though. Skype for Business is being deprecated. Teams is taking over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we do Zoom at work, and that's what they're saying. They say right now the Teams can only handle like 4 at a time, but then they're beta testing it for a bigger population. So a lot of businesses are going to start going into that.
I find I'm only good for about 10 at a time, and that's it. For this. And then all of a sudden it starts affecting all the other pictures. I've seen Zoom we had like 20 people on the other night. And it works okay, but it becomes it's a little more difficult to navigate once you've got that many people. You imagine me, it's difficult enough that I have 8 people here and I have to call on you, and you raise your hand, and you do this and you do that, and so we have to, it's really unwieldy if you've got 20 people, and I would never want that. I was thinking about trying something new and putting Zoom up, and then just saying on my Facebook page, well, you can call and talk to each other, and just put it up on YouTube or Facebook. That's a possibility, But anyway, the thing is that Trump and everything he's done has been motivated by, I want to win the next election, and it's not motivated by smart thinking. I mean, the one thing Cuomo talks about constantly every day and hammers home is, yes, we want to open. Yes, we want to get everybody out of their houses. Yeah, we want to do all of that, but we've got to be smart. We can't be stupid about this. And what we have to look at is data and see, if we see those numbers coming down, that doesn't mean we're suddenly going to take our foot off the pedal. We're going to make it go down even more. But if we say now that we're going to let certain businesses start coming into being again, we have to set up rules, and we have to do it slowly. And if the numbers start going up, we back off. He says it's like he had a picture of a valve and all these other little things like businesses and so on. And he says, here, you just turn it on a little bit and see what happens. Turn on a little bit more. He says, but whatever we do, we've got to be smart. And that's really what this is all about, is being smart. What really pissed me off in the last couple of days, and he doesn't let up on it, is Mitch McConnell with his whole attitude about, the states should declare bankruptcy. Do you know that states aren't allowed to declare bankruptcy?
Well,
and as Cuomo said, you don't know what you're talking about, Mitch, because we can't declare bankruptcy. But if you'd like us to, why don't you pass the law? Okay, Mitch? And see what happens. Try and run that one through the Senate. All right? And what he's pissed off about is he's pissed off about the fact that, that Mitch McConnell is saying, screw. At one point he said, let them go bankrupt because they're all blue states. Because it seems the most heavily hit states have been blue states, I guess because us Democrats don't know how to not get colds or how to get colds. And that, because they're all blue states, no, we shouldn't give them money. I mean, how cruel is that?
Did you see his whole thing about how much money the red states take versus what they pay in? That was brilliant.
What happens is every state sends money to the federal government as his portion of taking care of the government, okay?
Right.
And then when they need money, they take stuff out from the government. New York, something, I don't know how many billions of dollars, like $125 billion a year they pay to the federal government. And we don't take back a single penny. Meanwhile, Kentucky, Mitch McConnell's home, right, pays absolutely nothing and takes a whole bunch of it. And he said that what's happening here, Mitch, is cities like New York, states like New York, are supporting Kentucky.
Right.
mm-hmm.
He's been blasting them every day that he can.
That was one of the most brilliant things. I was so amazed by listening to that. I was mesmerized by it.
Yeah, I mean,
fascinating.
Well,
Great
you know what
job.
it is. Cuomo has often been accused of somehow being flying off the handle. He's got kind of a loose cannon at times. But damn it, he's just a New Yorker. That's all. And
did you hear the latest?
What?
That the deaf people are suing Cuomo for not having a hand signs.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I was saying to Marjorie, he doesn't have anybody doing signing.
Yeah, and now he's being sued because of it.
Well, I had a reason why I thought that. I know why. I said I think the reason he doesn't have a signer, and there's a good reason, Every word he says is on the screen, on the side,
Like
in
a PowerPoint.
in the PowerPoint. So they don't need to be able to hear him. All they need to do is to read the PowerPoint, and they will pretty much read everything he's saying. You know.
Didn't they have some people doing like some real, I don't know if it's 9/11 or something, and then they had somebody signing on the side, and they found out that the person wasn't even signing.
Oh yeah. They had somebody.
that was
that guy. Yeah.
Well,
That
who
was down in Africa, wasn't it, with Mandela or something?
Yeah. And he had a guy who was signing, but he wasn't signing. He didn't know how to sign.
Every time I see somebody signing, I'm thinking like they're not even doing it.
Well,
Well,
if you
Reminds
notice,
me of Saturday Night Live.
if
Right.
you
It's
notice
not
that
politically
a lot of
correct to make
times,
fun, right?
What?
if you notice a lot of times those signers, you'll see him signing, and the speaker is speaking, but he's done speaking, and they cut off the video, and they're not done signing, because my daughter, she goes,
She
he
knows
wasn't
sign
done
language.
saying what they were saying when they were signing. She reads sign language.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're not done.
Because
Why
usually,
did they cut it off?
Well, also sometimes they go and they show the
Because they're
audience.
way behind.
They do something like show the audience or show something else, and they're not showing the signer at the time.
yeah,
So it's all in service of trying to be politically correct. But you know,
right.
I say,
Right.
you know what I say? I say, fuck the deaf. Okay, so
They can't
you
hear
know,
you.
if they can't hear it, then hey, you know,
Can't hear
if
you
it-
say that.
well, they don't sign Donald Trump, do they? When he speaks, I don't see them doing.
They don't
that.
want to hear it.
You know, and quite frankly,
Ouchie signs.
you know, it's
Yeah.
Ouchie sign.
There you go.
you know something. I would hate to be in a political office because everybody is suing you for everything. You know?
I mean, if they let that lawsuit go through, they're making a mockery of the courts. Come on, really? You're suing because of it?
yeah.
How do you prove damages?
They're just trying
Yeah.
to get attention, so they'll have a signer there. That's it.
Well, deaf people, what is your case? What is your case?
Huh?
What is your case?
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know. Hi, John. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Still stuck in the house, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cooped up here. I'm just in a little studio, so you know. But did you see that billboard in Kentucky? It's got a picture of McConnell and his wife, and they're sitting there. They're going, "We're rich. How y'all doing?"
Yeah. Well, I understand. I understand. Our vice president wore a mask today to something.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
About
when he
time.
went to where was he? He went to GM, I think, and wore a mask.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out. You don't wear a mask to the Mayo Clinic, but you wear a mask to GM. Do you know
Probably going to
something
the
we don't
bathroom.
know? What?
It's probably going to the bathroom.
Yeah. I mean, what are they doing at GM? Packing meat because they can't make cars right now? I mean, what are they doing?
Right. They
They're
repurposed
making
GM.
ventilators there, aren't they? Yeah, they're making ventilators.
Oh, is that why he went there? You know,
Yeah.
these were all morons
making
because
ventilators.
there's nobody in that administration that realizes that you lead by example.
Yeah.
And the fact that Pence didn't wear one, you know, maybe he didn't have to wear one. Maybe he's safe, okay? But I don't think so. You know, and
What's going to be interesting is Trump's going to Arizona next week.
For what?
Oh, he's just going to go.
Yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna go, and was it just a say hi tour? Is that what it is?
I
Who's
think
he-
so.
You can't.
And
you
nobody's
can't-
supposed to go. It's supposed
Yeah.
to be a no people show up type thing, and he's going to a manufacturing place or something.
Well, why is
They
he
won't,
go,
they won't
why,
say much about it, but he's supposed to go to Arizona.
why is he going to Arizona? That's the least
That's
impacted
the big
area.
question.
Yeah.
They think that because you know, it's all speculation, but they think it's because that was a close state for him, and so he's going to go down there and probably try and drum up some redness.
And Martha McSally's losing in the polls.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, what's he going to do? Go down there to help her lose?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know.
Probably gonna
Hopefully.
Boy, today I've
stir
been
them
having
all up and bring them out with their guns, and they'll go out there and spit on each other or something.
I've been having a heavy chest today. little wheezing today, but nothing, not the coronavirus. I keep taking my temperature. Like when I take it about 3 times to make sure it's, because every time you put a thermometer in your mouth these days, it's a different temperature. But as long as it's always above 98.6, I'm happy. Anyway, I can't see why he's going to Arizona. I mean, if he truly wanted to go out and see the devastation and whatever, come to New York, go to Boston, go to Chicago. But he won't stick his nose in any of those places.
No.
Wants to visit the kids in the cages, see how they're doing.
Yeah, the kids in the cages.
Yeah, they haven't mentioned if that's a coronavirus.
Right, he probably wants to say hello.
What were you
sign the wall?
Are those people in danger of coronavirus outbreak?
What were you saying, Ray?
Well, he can, just to say hello. How's it going here in your cages?
Well, the least he could do is come to New York, which is his hometown, and not press the flesh, but just say, hey, your government's with you, Yeah.
Ray, were you getting unemployment, or did you apply for unemployment? I remember last time I heard you on, you were saying.
I didn't get any. I have to do it this new way, even though what happened is the last theater I worked at was supposed to give me a W-2, and they accidentally gave me a 1099. And so I got zilch. So I got to
You can get coronavirus pay though, can't you? There's a
yeah, as of like yesterday or the day before. So I have to figure out how to apply for that.
Wow.
But I'm supposed to do it the normal way because I was supposed to get a W-2, but they made a mistake. So I don't know what to do.
By the way, John Larkin, I have a suggestion for you. You're a little blurry, and I think it's because your lens is dirty.
Like Tony's.
Yeah, it's the tone. It's the Tony effect. And if you can, look at that. See.
Yep,
now we can see you.
Much better.
Yeah, look at that, folks. It's like, that's the lens I should be using at my age. But there we go. Oh wow, that was filthy.
Wow.
Alex.
Yes.
Alex, before you go. My scarf isn't quite right, but I'm trying to do a Scarfy impression.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. We haven't seen Scarfy, and they're appearing elsewhere now. They're not appearing with Trump at all.
Everyone calls her Scarfy.
Neither is Fauci.
Scarfy was there today.
Was Scarfy there? Where was she today? What?
There was that conference today. I don't know where it was, but he had a press conference today, and she was there.
Really?
But nobody likes Scarfy. Everybody loves Fauci, but everybody hates Scarfy.
I don't know why they hate Scarfy. I don't think. Brian, do you find her particularly a problem?
Nah, she's doing her job.
She just kind of sits there with her scarf.
Will you let Brian finish with what he was saying?
Sorry.
Jeez, please, Charlie.
No, I think she's doing her job.
Yeah.
Trying to keep her job.
For any of these guys to clearly do their job, I think she's doing the best she can under what she's doing.
How Fauci has kept his mouth shut. He's done it. He's put him down subtly by just getting up and negating everything he's just said. But if I were Fauci, if I had a gun, I'd want to shoot him.
The one video of him going like that though is so classic. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got him in the background so bad.
Yeah. Charlie, how's everything in Texas? You're opening up everything
we're going
there.
back to work tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's opening everything up.
No.
No testing. Nobody can get testing, but we're opening up everything.
There's no testing, and everybody can go back to work.
Yep.
And they're opening up the movie theaters, are they?
I don't know if they're opening up the movie theaters, but restaurants can open up for people sitting in the restaurants and all that stuff. Yeah.
Softball?
Listen, Marjorie said.
No, I haven't heard anything about softball, but that's just here in Austin. It might be in Dallas or other places. It might.
Well, Marjorie's been working from home, and she likes it. But if she said tomorrow, they said come back to work, She says, I don't know if I'd be so fast to go back to work. You know,
A lot of people say.
son of a bitch. Oh, it's reconnecting. Okay. Oh, it stopped. It stopped streaming.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I can see you.
Hmm.
I can still
yeah,
see
we're
you.
back. We're back on again. We're back on again.
Yeah, right.
For some reason we had a problem with my OBS here, but it's back working again. So anyway, just everybody come back to me. Just we're sorry it went out. I'm sure it didn't kill the recording of it, so that'll be fine.
Did Kirk run out of electricity yesterday?
I didn't see any glitch.
Yes.
Hey.
Wait a minute, Charlie.
Yeah, and the way they're doing it in Texas is if you don't go back to work tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
you can't get unemployment. They're assume that you quit, so you're not eligible for unemployment.
Oh,
So
really?
you either go back to work and maybe die, or you can't get unemployment.
Here's the reason why she won't go back to work. It's not that she's worried about the work environment, okay? She's worried about getting there. You know,
Absolutely.
having to take a lift, which the guy may not have cleaned the back seat, or having to take a subway to get there. I don't think these are things a lot of people are going to want to do immediately. So, you know, maybe going back to work is easier in the environment of Texas, where you're deep in the heart of.
Everybody's got a car.
Huh? Yes, yes, Ray.
I just have a question for Charlie. Does that apply if you're somebody who has like a pre-existing condition, like a lung problem, or you're over 60? You still have to go back to work, even though you're putting yourself at horrible risk?
Yeah, that's what they're doing. If you don't go back to work, you can't get unemployment.
Yeah.
So, they're going to cut you off unemployment one way or the other. You either go back to work and make money that way, or you starve. Because if you don't go back to work, they're assuming you quit, and so you're not eligible for unemployment.
Because people with
At least
diabetes,
you don't have to work one of those meatpacking
lung
plants.
problems, they're risking their lives by going back to work, because they're.
You think Governor Abbott cares about that?
Well, I mean, Marjorie has to watch out
our
because
lives.
she has COPD, you know, and she has COPD, and that's not good. You know, she's what do you call it? One of the vulnerable people in this situation, so she doesn't want to say, "Oh, sure, I'll be happy to take a subway down to work every day," right? She wouldn't mind if she lived around the block and could go right into the building, but that's not the case. We're all the way uptown. She's got to take a car. She's got to do something like that, you know, and it's scary. It's just scary. But I mean, the fact that they're forcing people to go back to work in Texas, I think that each individual business should decide for themselves, if at the very least. But it's almost like these Republican governors care more about the economy. In fact, wasn't it your governor, or maybe your lieutenant governor?
It was Texas.
that
said
that
all the senior citizens who just fall on the sword, go back to work and die.
Yeah, well, he said basically
economy.
that if it's a difference between the economy and leaving a good economy to our children, or these older people dying, then I guess they're going to have to die. I think that was basically what he was saying.
Yep.
Where does that
Texas
come from? You know? Yes, Kevin.
Is Texas a right to work state?
Oh, hell
yes.
yes.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
the first
Arizona,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or at will employer or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so I mean, it's ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
A lot of people support that, though. I mean, there are plenty of people who agree with that lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I
you know,
mean,
and that's what's getting weird is that it's trickling down to the lower end, because we had a local county meeting online day before yesterday, and I just listened to it this morning because it was online. I usually go to them, but they've been doing them on Zoom, so I listened to it yesterday. It was a county meeting, and they were bringing up opening up and that sort of thing, and they had a bunch of people calling in and whatnot, and it was a shit show because the former Santa Clara health agency person is our health agency person down here.
Mm-hmm.
And he took a beating from the local people down here
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted to, they want to open up, and we've got our share of, rednecks out in the woods here. And they were talking about how he was being imperial, he was the, unelected person that's telling people what to do, and you should open up and just let us figure it out ourselves. And, it was getting real heated. And even one of the supervisors said, we should call for your termination. And 3 of the other supervisors said we should follow the state's rules and use their guidelines and move along that way. And the public was coming on and just berating this guy one after another. And then I come to find out yesterday that he resigned. He said, fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have no health officer.
Well, I don't know. All I know is that I live in fear every time I leave this building. And I've never allowed myself to be put into a state of fear by something, but I feel vulnerable. And
well, and it's a lot with the people, what these people are thinking about out there. Some of them are just want to be reckless and go out there and say, okay, what happens. And then there's other people that just want to go along and go with the data and the science.
Yeah.
And, try and believe what's going on. I don't think anybody wants to wreck this country. I don't think anybody wants to wreck the county.
No,
or
but
the state.
I think the economy is second to people living.
Yeah, and I understand that too. I understand
people
are hurting, but let's do it right.
Yeah,
for Christ's sake.
And let the government somehow make sure they don't hurt quite as much. Yes,
Yeah.
Rob.
So I heard I was listening to sports talk yesterday, and since there's not much in the way of sports,
Yes.
somebody they're talking about everything, right? So a healthcare worker called in and said, people who have these jobs who stay home and they have the luxury of working from home,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that luxury. I work 12, 14-hour days.
Yeah.
And then I'm sequestered from my family. I haven't hugged my kids in 6 weeks. And people are complaining and people are not staying home and such. And the talk show host, the sports talk show host person said, you bring up an interesting point. There are a lot of people who feel you're lucky. Give me the opportunity to go to work and risk my life. You have the option. If you don't want to go to work, I can't feed my family. I can't pay my bills. I'm going to lose my place where I live. Let me make a decision whether or not I want to take that risk and go to work. It was, it's a cogent argument. You know what I mean? It's thoughtful when you hear it that way.
Well,
we're not giving the people a chance to determine whether or not they could afford to pay their bills and, for health reasons. But then there are those people who but they begrudge the people putting their lives on the line.
Well, Cuomo's made a big deal out of the service workers and the subway, people who work in the subways who go there every day, and the cops who still show up for the job, in spite of the fact their lives are on the line. A lot of them have died already. Yes, Jeff, quickly, because
one of my friends, a young fella, him and his wife both work in serious hospital places, which is very risky. They also have a very young child who's like 6 years old. The 6-year-old can't stay with his parents. They stay with their grandparents, and they get to talk to them on the internet and things like that. But they never get to see the mother and the child every day.
By the way, there's a thing that they've started, and I don't know where they've started it. I think maybe out in California, someplace like that, called RVs for workers. And what it is, if people have RVs, they let certain workers have an RV that they park in their driveway so they can live in there instead of live with the family, but still be close to home, which I thought was one of the most wonderful things I've heard so far in all of this. Hey, that's the theme. God, what a good show tonight. Terrific show. A program. I don't like to call it a show. First of all, thanks to Brian for being the first one up here. Rob, thank you. Love having you here. Charlene, great having you here. Charlie, deep in the heart of Texas. Jeff, deep in the heart of Connecticut. Kevin, deep in the heart of somewhere in California. And of course, Ray, thank you. And John Larkin from the Tenderloin District in San Francisco, thank you for being here. Thanks to all of you. And if you'll give a big wave goodbye, I'll give a big wave goodbye back at you. Okay? There they go. That's the citizen panel. And that's it for tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow night. But coming up next is a program aptly called The Intersection with a guy by the name of Jack Bishop. I'm trying to do everything at once here. I'm trying to sign off and whatever. Anyway, listen, we'll be back here again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.